I came across a video last night, guys, and I'm trying to figure out. Now, I'm no legal scholar, so I'm not sure how well this is going to play in court. But to me, this is pretty damning against Blake Lively and specifically Taylor Swift. So for the movie It Ends With Us, they were doing different press tours, different press runs. And seems like most of the cast is there, especially the main characters, of course, not Justin Baldoni, because he was pushed out of all of the promotion for it or doing the press tours. He was even put in the basement during the premiere of the movie It Ends With Us, even though he owns the rights to the movie. He got it. He was the main producer, the director, his production company. It was the ones that did it. It's just insanity, the number of things that were done to him. But I'm astounded at the hubris of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and even Taylor Swift, but specifically Blake Lively. Her mouth continues to get them in trouble. She has said some things and done some things, admitted things that at the time she thought, I guess she was going to get away with it. But now when you look at the lawsuits and the receipts, it's coming back to bite her in the behind. Now, you guys take a listen to this video. I don't think I'm reading too much into it. Is what we've seen that Blake Lively and Taylor Swift, specifically Taylor Swift, was involved in this entire drama. And she's even named in the lawsuit. She hasn't had a lawsuit filed against her, but I don't see how she's going to avoid one, along with Disney and Marvel and Sony. Because the more evidence we see, the more receipts we get, the picture is forming pretty clear that it was all this kind of like collusion, in my opinion, to push this guy, Justin Baldoni, out of his own movie. And they had no shame about it. Now, I've talked about as well how ties into the Me Too movement. I'm going to get more into that in subsequent videos. But take a listen to this. What Blake Lively admits, because this might be a smoking gun.
Was it exciting? Did you have to make some calls?
There were a lot of calls made for a lot of songs in this movie. Honestly, like this movie, I think that like when you see it, it feels like a big, beautiful summer movie, but like we didn't have any budget. So there were a lot of favors and a lot of begging and
Your knees for Taylor?
I mean, honestly, she was with me on this experience the whole time, all throughout it. So like she really lived this with me. Yeah, she was, she's a person who shows up for you. And
did you hear that? Let me play it again. I'm going to play it again.
Was it exciting? Did you have to make some calls?
there were a lot of calls made for a lot of songs in this movie. Honestly, like this movie, I think that like when you see it, it feels like a big, beautiful summer movie, but like we didn't have any budget. So there were a lot of favors and a lot of begging and
Your knees for Taylor?
I mean, honestly, she was with me on this experience the whole time, all throughout it. So like she really lived this with me.
She was with me through this entire experience, this entire thing. That means from start to finish of this movie, that she was with Blake the entire time. So that means that she had knowledge of everything that was going on. She knew what Blake was doing and Ryan Reynolds were doing behind the scenes. But now she's trying to wash her hands of things and say, we're no longer friends. And then once that didn't go over too well, now they're putting out another piece that said, oh no, they're still friends. It's just so bizarre, guys. But did she just implicate Taylor Swift? That is what I'm hearing. I just want to play that little part again, and we're going to finish the rest of this clip because it's longer.
Your niece, Taylor?
I mean, honestly, she was with me on this experience the whole time, all throughout it. So like, she really lived this with me. Yeah, she was. You know, she's a person who shows up for you, and I'm so grateful to have that love and that support. But yeah, there were other people too that I had to call and beg, and people that said no. Um, I don't know what that means. So if somebody has a dictionary, I would love to find the definition of that. It's so confusing to me. No, we just begged to get a lot of the songs in the movie, songs that we couldn't afford. But people, I was just like, please see the movie. It's just, I think you'll want to be a part of it because we all just.
Guys, Taylor Swift is in trouble. And we haven't even had any discovery where they have to turn over their text messages and their communications and their records on what was said behind the scenes. I think once that comes out, I think this is why Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds 3 times have tried to get a gag order on Justin Baldoni and his lawyer, so that they cannot talk to, they can't share anything publicly, that they can't talk about the case. But more importantly, Justin Baldoni's lawyer plans to put up a website with all of the evidence, and so that the public can see everything that went on, at least all of the evidence that they have, even though they have shared quite a bit. And like I've told you guys in my last couple of videos, this ties into Deadpool, because in Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds mocks and I would say bullies and Justin Baldoni, even having him killed at the end. And we showed how that actually ties to this movie. It Ends With Us. It's a whole saga with that, but this is why it ties into Disney and Marvel. And it is just really bizarre. All of the things that are outlined in the lawsuit, at least Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, show that there was a lot of collusion behind the scenes in order to strip this movie from him and then Me Too him. And I have some more information about that whole Me Too thing. But Blake Lively just outed Taylor Swift. Now, I don't know if she didn't realize that people in the audience were recording her, if she just didn't care, because at the time she thought that she had, she had gotten away with this, all of the stuff that she had done behind the scenes. I don't know if she just forgot that she admitted this, but 100% this evidence needs to go to Justin Baldoni's lawyer. And I don't know how Taylor Swift will get out of this entire thing after listening to this. She was lockstep with her. She was there with her through this entire thing. That means if she was being quote unquote sexually harassed, Taylor Swift knew about that. But if Blake Lively was making these things up and plotting behind the scenes, well, then Taylor Swift was with her through that. And to just tie this all together just a little bit better, there was a person on Reddit who 6 months ago, they were claimed to be an insider, and they were spilling all this tea and saying what had happened behind the scenes. At the time, no one took it seriously because we hadn't had the lawsuits. We hadn't had the Blake Lively's civil rights complaint against Justin Baldoni. The New York Times article hadn't come out. Like, no one knew what was going on if you're a person from the outside, but it looks like, this person had inside knowledge. Listen to this as I read this, and then I want you to specifically to listen to the part about Taylor Swift. So it says, okay, I know a lot of the inside drama for It Ends With Us, and I just don't know who to share it with. So here we are. I'm obviously using a throwaway, but I know someone who worked in the movie for most of its run, who would have gotten these details piping hot, not some grapevine situation. They told me firsthand what they know. I'll give you bullet points. Supposedly, Blake felt that Justin made her uncomfortable on set. One instance in particular, they said, was that Justin told Blake she looked sexy in what she was wearing on set. I don't know the context around it. Let me make this bigger so you guys can see it. It'll just kind of be like that. That is based on the evidence. There was a mention of sexy, but it's not any type of malice. He wasn't sexually harassing her. It ties into something. It is completely, from what I see in the evidence, a falsehood that he was trying to, come on to her or tell her she was sexy. I believe she needed to be sexier for the scene. It was something that she said in a text. She talked about she wanted to be sexy. So this definitely was taken completely out of context. But then it goes on to say, apparently Justin wasn't happy with the original editor's cut of the movie, so he hired his own team to do his version of the movie, which he should because he was the director. Blake wanted to do her own version of the movie as a result, but Sony said no. Remember when she said she doesn't take no for an answer, essentially, in that clip I just showed? She says she doesn't, like, what is no? I don't take no for an answer. Or I'm just kind of paraphrasing it, but that is what she was saying. Blake goes to Sony and threatens to go to the New York Times with a story that says Justin was sexually harassing her on set if they don't let her have her own version. So she's threatened Sony. Once they told her no, she threatened that she was going to Me Too him, that she was going to do a false claim of sexual harassment. Like, this is insane. This is what we're seeing play out right now, because she's not going to take no for an answer. Her and, Ryan Reynolds, and again, the third wheel, Taylor Swift, was right there with her with everything. That is what she's saying. That's what she said in the clip. And then we know the article came out in the New York Times. This is insanity, because this was 6 months ago, before anyone knew anything. Okay, the New York Times article came out December 21st. She filed her complaint December 20th, but I found a fully edited, scripted, high-level video to go along with that article was done on December 12th. But then we also found that embedded text messages in that New York Times article through like a text generator was done all the way back on October 31st, Halloween. So we have October 31st as the earliest date that we're seeing any type of evidence in the metadata that shows that the New York Times had this piece, was working on it for quite some time. So when this person posted this, okay, and let me just show that 6 months ago, how would they know all of these details? We didn't find out until all the lawsuits were filed and then the things were going back and forth. So I'm inclined to believe that this person is speaking facts, at least from their perspective, as much as they could. Woo, child. Sony freaks out and says, okay, whatever you want. Justin is banned from the Sony lot. I don't think forever. Let me move this up. Just for the run of the movie, but I could be wrong. Blake hires Taylor Swift's music video editors to do her version while she's filming in Italy for something. So there's another tie to Taylor Swift that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to. For her version of the movie, she hired Taylor Swift's music video editors to do her cut. And this is why the movie was cut so terribly, because these were not movie editors. These were music video editors. And it looks like that. It makes the movie look like a cheesy Hallmark movie. Because that works well, maybe, like I said, for a music video, something short and punchy and very dramatic. But as a movie, it sucks. Blake has friends and family has a friends and family screening to get thoughts with lots of A-listers, Ben Affleck, Bradley Cooper, I think, etc., etc. Everyone is like, question marks, this movie makes no effing sense, right? It makes no sense. And even the final cut makes no sense. So this first rough draft by Taylor Swift's editors made no sense. Blake realizes she needs to hire an experienced film editor to fix it. Blake uses a Taylor Swift song in the movie that the studio loves having in there. She talks about that. Favors were done. The budget was so low, so she had to use a lot of favors, and one of those was through her best friend and the godmother of 3 of her children, Taylor Swift. T Swift, let me move this up. T Swift, that's so T Swift. Taylor Swift finds out that the original composer for the movie is someone she worked with in the past that was mean to her. And she says it's either me or him. Sony fires that composer to keep the Taylor Swift song. And we know this because the composer for Deadpool got a call. He has an interview where he got a call, and last minute they were saying, can you compose a score for this whole movie, put it all together, soundtrack, in a week? And he's like, what? He was working on Deadpool, right? But then they try to bring him over to It Ends With Us. They fire the other composer because Taylor Swift doesn't like him. And then they bring him in, and he's just like, I can't do a week, but maybe 3 weeks. I think it ended up being a month that he was able to pull this together. And he thought it was weird. The people who were interviewing him thought it was weird. And he's never seen anything like that happen before while working on a movie. Think about it. If he's the composer for Deadpool, this is a very experienced guy, decades in the industry, and he's never seen anything like this. And probably questioning why would this happen. But now we're getting more information. Now, a lot of the receipts that are in Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, his $400 million lawsuit against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, show that, although we don't have all of the information yet, but that is to be coming because Baldoni's lawyer, like I said, actually is going to do a website and drop all of this. So we'll be able to see more of those receipts and to confirm this. But this tracks with what has happened. So guys, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Make sure you're following me on X at Real Melanie King. Also below, I am starting my little Shopify store where I'm putting together different merch, different products, things like that you can use. I'm just starting it, but check it out. The link is below. And also you can go to realmelanieking.com if you want to get some of my merch. And I will see you on the next one.